In December, I like to do Christmas songs. And for this one, Away in a Manger, we're not learning it for anything. We're just having fun with it. So I just wanted to have fun with them. And so I decided to pull out bells. I think this is the first time I've done it. I don't do these often because they're a little tricky for my primary. And I'm going to give you a little hint for what I did. So this idea originally came from Camille's primary ideas. I looked at her bell chart, but I was quite confident that my primary would not be able to follow her bell chart, like when to do it. They're not familiar with the song, and we don't have a lot of children that play musical instruments, etc. So I wrote up the lyrics, so at least I had the lyrics, and then I highlighted the words that they're supposed to play the bells on. And this is just the standard 8-bell set of a C major scale. So I used hers and I just highlighted, do you see, in red, and I got 3 volunteers, and I told them, I say, okay, for my first 3 volunteers, I want to pick someone that kind of is familiar with beat, maybe plays a musical instrument where they can know, oh, we ring on a certain time, so that way the other kids could watch first. So I got 3 volunteers, and we had these 3 bells, and I put them over where they could see the words. I keep ringing. And I said, okay, we're going to sing through this. And you ring the bell when you see that red word. So it's away in a manger, no crib for his bed. Something like that. And we'd sing through. But I told the rest of the children, practice ringing the bell when they do. So as you're singing, do this with your hand, so that way when you have a turn, or if you have a turn, you can be ready for it. This is your practice. Don't just sit there, use it to practice if you want to turn. So we sang through it. Oh, I also had this little cheat down here with the colors of the bells. So C, E, and G, and then I highlighted it in that color. And if you want this document, just comment below and I will get in touch with you and I can share it with you. Now that's for senior primary. For junior primary, we actually did not get to this song. I ran out of time. So I have not done this in junior primary, but I thought about it in my head and I was prepared for them not to be able to do this. I have a very young junior primary, and so I was going to have teachers help them. I would ask for a volunteer, and then I'll say, hey, is it okay if a teacher helps you? And then I would get a teacher and say, do any teachers feel comfortable like kind of holding their hand and ringing it for them? So I'd probably have the teacher stand behind the child, kind of holding their hand, and then they ring it together. So that way the child can play the bells, but at least have a shot at getting it on time. But back to senior primary. So for senior primary, we raised it a notch. We're going to do another challenge level, and I added a couple bells. So I rewrote the same verse, and we skipped the asleep, asleep. You can add it if you want, but we just skipped that part. And I added these 2 bells. So if you look at the bottom, B, F, and G, that's purple, green, and the same blue. The blue overlaps. So I would line them up in order. And I'd say, okay, whoever has red and yellow, the C and E, you are going to play when you see the red. The 2 children that have purple and green are going to play when you see the green. And then the blue, the G, whoever has this one is going to play on red and green for every single one. There's only one more challenge level with one more word where I think I could add one more bell for a chord. I'm not exactly sure, but we just never got to that level, so I never added the 3rd level. But just know that there is a 3rd level if you want to add one more bell, but they only get to ring it once. And so I thought, the kids really like to ring it multiple times, so I'll just forget about that. But the kids really loved it. We were able to go through it, 3 or 4 times. And they really loved being able to play. And then I'd tell the rest of the kids, I'm like, all right, I need you guys to support our bell choir. Sit up straight, sing well, so that way we could have the singing and the playing.